Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Bob. Bob's good at that. Thank y'all, and so glad to have you down on Mississippi Gulf Coast today. I want to say about the mayor, your new president. I had back in the good old days, I used to run in races up in Greenwood, and after she was elected mayor, we were running a race and got through and everything, and she was scurrying around picking up trash on the streets to make sure her town looked that good for anybody that came there. And that is true leadership by example. So, Mayor, so pleased for you. And also, Mayor Simmons, did he leave? There he is. I'm just hopeful there is no video of me and your brother and Steve Azar singing the state song. If that's not available, that'd be good. I want to take just a minute to talk to you all about 2 or 3 serious matters that have gone on this last year. Mayor was quite clear about the things we've done from boarding up to revolving loans. But I do want to take a minute about the ARP money. Under our AARP, when I came to visit with many of you during the last year, I asked you to save your money and that we would match your money. The Mississippi legislature would match the money that you received so that you could have twice as much as the federal government sent you originally. Y'all received about $500 million collectively in your cities. We allocated out this year $450 million to match your money. So we doubled the amount. And what's so important about that is that will set the tone for where your next industrial park, by the way, we allocated $40 million to build industrial parks this year. That shows where your next industrial park is, where your next subdivision is, where your next part of your community is going to grow. And so it is so important that they have your leadership in spending those funds. Now, I met with Chris Wells. The regulations are to be out July the 1st, which is all y'all know is Friday. So we anticipate them coming tomorrow. Those will be in a draft form. So all of y'all, please put your eyes on those. While they've worked very hard. I was by there a couple of different times. They're working very hard on the regulations. That doesn't mean they're right the first draft like anything else. So we will be anxious to hear from you on what would be a barrier to you using your money as you deem fit. So you'll see us doing that this year. Really pleased this year that we funded $5 million for the Main Street organization. Talking with Thomas a little bit ago, I think there are over 40 cities that are members of Main Street, and they will receive that $5 million, $125,000 for cities that are more than $25,000 and $100,000 for cities that are less than $25,000. For those of you who are rebuilding your downtowns, which is so critical to the quality of life we have in Mississippi, for those of you that are doing that, you will have the assistance from us to that amount, to an additional $100,000. 2 of the mayors stopped me when we were outside and asked if they could pick up the check Saturday. And I'm just telling you, it's going to take a little bit, but bear with us. As soon as DFA can write the checks, we want to get them out to y'all, and we're really looking forward to seeing how you spend them. Some things that you don't see that are important. We're running the state government like you try to run your town. And by that, we paid off $300 million in bonding last year. So why did we pay off all of that bonding? We didn't issue any bonds. We issued $100 million out for various and sundry matters in the cities, but we issued no bonds. We paid off $300 million. And I'm hopeful this year we'll do the same thing. So we are preparing the state for leaner times, just like you do. So we will reduce the state debt by between $500 million and $600 million this next year. That means we don't pay that much interest. That means we got more for cities and counties and roads and bridges. We put up $230 million last year for additional roads and bridges, $100 million to the ERBR fund. That will be going out. It was supposed to be approved yesterday. It was not, because one commissioner decided not to vote for the program, that it solely goes to cities and counties. I'm very hopeful that will change shortly, because you need to have that money so you can get started on the many projects that you have around Mississippi. It is my intention to make sure that that is not a once-only appropriation. So next year you will see us eyeing a similar appropriation for y'all. I want to talk about one other quick thing I think's important. We are facing a crime issue in the city of Jackson. You're facing it in your local communities. Sherry and I were just talking about that. Over the last 2 or 3 months and over the last 2 or 3 years, I've been going around to counties and school districts talking about what are you doing? What's different here? How can we do better? What's going on? And it started in Corinth. They started what they call a modified school calendar. And I want to tell you how much that's going to mean to you. In that modified school calendar, they're on 9 weeks and off 2 weeks. Gulfport has picked that up. Mayor Hughes down here has picked that part up. They're going 9 weeks on and 3 weeks off. They left June the 7th and come back the second week of July. Very short summer, and they have these intercession programs. I went to the one in Gulfport last week where those kids come back into that school, and you know what? They're getting educated, they're safe, they're learning, and they're out of trouble. That's really important. Lamar County, same thing. Modified school calendar, 9 weeks on, 2 weeks off. Still have state tests and all the rest of it. So what about the teachers? So I met with the teachers. To a person, 80, 90%, 100% of them, we like this better. Because quite frankly, they're real honest about it. They say, quite frankly, I'm sick of these kids in March, and they're sick of me. So what we do, we have these breaks, and they enjoy that. So we're re-energized to teach our children. What about the moms and dads? We love this. Single moms have a place to still keep their kids and whatnot, and they know they're learning and safe and have food. So the community, I think it was 80% in Lamar County, voted to go to a modified school calendar. So what does that do about crime? That gives you a safe child, an educated child, and structure. That's what it's doing. So this year, when we come back to the legislature, we want to incentivize school districts in Mississippi to take advantage of that, to make sure that you have the opportunity, if that's what you want to do. It's school districts, it's local school districts. I met with a couple of the mayors about several of them today. Those are local decisions to be made, but they're made by a board and they're made by the leadership. That's you. You and the Board of Supervisors. If you decide to make your community better, if you're wondering why kids are running on the street at night and that kind of thing, think about the schools. Think about planting that seed to go forward. That's what will make a difference for you. So when we go through this process, you will see us start to address next year an incentive program for those to move to modified school districts. You'll see us also start to address money that helps people that are already making that decision in Hattiesburg, in Corinth, in Gulfport. Those cities are moving forward on these kind of processes. I encourage you to take a strong look, take the leadership part that goes with it. I do want to thank C Spire for a second. Terrell, they have been so great to Mississippi. They're owned by Mississippians. They live in Mississippi. They are giving all internet to all of our education groups, to our schools, get free internet from C Spire. They are a great corporate citizen. We started by matching $75 million last year, $160 million on broadband this year. We're coming to your asphalt, we're coming to your gravel road with what will be required really to compete for us for the rest of the time. I am so looking forward. We're having a great year in the legislature. Last year we had an historic year. We addressed so many issues, from equal pay to teachers' pay. We raised our teachers' salaries. We did all the things that we had before us. That doesn't mean we're through. So this next year, we're looking forward to working with you. If the cities don't work, the state's not going to work. So we want to listen to what you need to make your place a little bit better for your citizens and for planting the seeds for the future. For my 7 grandchildren, by the way, I'm going to have an 8th here shortly. That's good. for my 7 grandchildren and yours. So thank you so much for giving me the time today. It's great to see everybody.